I found his messages, and everything I knew about her love, shattered in a single night. I scroll through my phone again, hesitant, like looking too long might make what I already know explode in my hands. The screen lights up the dark living room, pale and unforgiving. My thumb hovers over the deleted folder, but I already know what's waiting for me. There it is, Lee's name. And the messages, small, innocuous-looking, but heavy, weighted with possibility. I just set up an appointment with Deb. August 4th, just a checkup with blood work. We should get lunch that day if you're free. I freeze, the words sinking. In, lunch. That one casual word, harmless to anyone else, is a grenade in my chest, and there's no reply from her, not that I see. My pulse is loud in my ears. I didn't even want to check. But she said someone asked her out. She said it like it was nothing. And now I'm here in the quiet, every creak of the house amplified, my fingers trembling slightly. I hear the faint click of the kitchen faucet from the other room, running water masking the sound of my own shallow breaths. The smell of last night's coffee still lingers, bitter and clinging, like a memory I can't shake. I want to run, turn away, close the folder and pretend I never saw. But something keeps me rooted. Something is aching to know. Another message. Surfaces. Later that night. Bring Rich and come to Smokehouse. Delivered. My stomach twists. His reply, I'm not even off work yet. And there's that little detail again. The way she always texts him first. The way her messages vanish as if they were never there. Deleted. Like a secret, carefully tucked away. I press the phone to my chest and sink down to the floor. Back, against the couch. The cushion smells faintly of her perfume. Vanilla and something darker, something I can't name but that makes my skin prickle. I close my eyes and imagine her in that office, laughing with him, maybe sharing something I shouldn't know. And I hate myself for imagining it, but I can't stop. Not now. The living room feels smaller all of a sudden. Shadows stretch across the walls, and every whisper of air from the ceiling fan sounds like a sigh. My chest tightens, heart hammering, and I realize I've been holding my breath. I let it out slowly, tasting the sharpness of tension. I hear footsteps. Her footsteps. Soft, deliberate, familiar. She appears at the edge of the light, hair tucked behind her ear, eyes catching mine. That smile, half innocent, half knowing, sends a confusing jolt through me. Hey, she says. Her voice is warm, casual, but my nerves are frayed, raw. Hey, I reply, and my throat feels tight. Words caught somewhere between anger, fear, and longing. She sits beside me close enough that her shoulder brushes mine, and I feel the heat radiating off her. That small contact, casual, innocent maybe, but to me it's a fuse. Everything okay? Her hand grazes mine for just a fraction of a second, and it's electric. I want to scream. I want to throw the phone across the room. I want to pull her closer and demand honesty, and also maybe forget every single thing I just saw. I want all of it at once, and yet none of it. My voice cracks. I swallow. I can't. Not yet. Not with her looking at me like this. Like nothing has changed, and everything has changed. She tilts her head, studying me, and for a moment the world is just the two of us and the quiet hum of the house. I want to ask, to accuse, to confess my own feelings, the anger, the fear, the desperate craving to know if I still matter. But all the words stumble into silence, and then she leans slightly closer. Not too close, just enough. Enough to make the air thick. Enough that I can smell her hair, faint jasmine underneath vanilla, enough that my chest tightens again. My eyes trace the curve of her lips, the gentle slope of her cheek, the way her fingers rest unconsciously on the couch beside mine. I realize I'm holding my breath again. Let's get some air, she says softly, as if sensing the storm inside. Me? I nod. And together, we move toward the sliding glass door, the cool night air rushing in to hit our faces, brushing against our skin. It's a small reprieve, but it doesn't erase the tension coiling in my stomach. I glance at her. She's looking at me, really looking like she might know, like she might already know what I found, or maybe she doesn't. The uncertainty makes my pulse spike, makes my fingers itch to reach out and close the space between us. But I don't. Not yet. We stand there in silence, the backyard bathed in. Moonlight, the wind stirring the leaves, and everything unsaid hangs heavy between us. I know one thing. Nothing will ever feel the same again. And somewhere deep inside, a small, dangerous spark is alive. Something thrilling and terrifying all at once. Something I can't ignore. The phone buzzes in my pocket. A message. I don't check it. Not yet. Not until I know what I'm willing to lose. And as I turn to look at her again, our eyes meet, and the world narrows to that one fragile, burning connection. Something is about to change. The night is cool, crisp, brushing against my skin like a teasing whisper as we step out onto the porch. She leans against the railing, the faint glow of the garden lights catching the curve of her jaw, the way her hair tumbles softly over her shoulders. I can't stop staring. Something about the tension between us makes the air thicker, heavier. Every breath we take seems to pull us closer, though neither of us moves. I want to speak, to confront, to rip the truth from her lips. But I hesitate. The danger of words is too sharp tonight, too immediate. Instead, I let my eyes linger, tracing her silhouette, the way her hand curls around the railing, delicate and steady, and I feel a low, restless pull inside me. "You're quiet," she says finally, her voice soft but knowing, almost teasing. "I'm thinking," I manage, though my chest is tight, my pulse too fast. My fingers itch to brush against hers, to see if she flinches or leans closer. The space between us feels impossibly small, electric. About what? Her tone is light, but there's an edge I can't ignore. She tilts her head, and I catch the glint in her eyes, the one that makes my stomach twist. I take a step closer, careful, deliberate. Close enough that her warmth brushes mine. She doesn't step back. My fingers flex at my sides, almost aching for contact. But I hold them still. For now. "About us," I say quietly. The words hang between us, fragile, like the night itself is holding its breath. She lets out a soft laugh, but it's not entirely amused. "Us?" "Yes," I insist, trying to steady my voice. "Everything. Tonight. This everything between us." Her eyes narrow slightly, studying me. There's a flicker of something. Curiosity? Challenge? Desire? I can't tell. Maybe it's all of it. She shifts, so that our shoulders brush just lightly, but enough that the contact sets a shiver racing down my spine. "Is this about what I said earlier? That guy?" Her voice dips, teasing and vulnerable at once. I shake my head, and in the movement, our eyes lock. "Not exactly. It's more than that. I don't know how to explain it without sounding insane." "You're already insane," she whispers, leaning just enough closer that our knees touch. The brush of her leg against mine is electric, a deliberate accident that makes my chest tighten. I inhale sharply, tasting her, not literally, but every sense is attuned to her. Her scent, the warmth radiating off her, the subtle pulse at her neck as she tilts her head. I want to reach out, touch her, trace the line of her collarbone, but I hold back, knowing that the tension, the delicious, unbearable tension, is almost better than contact. Almost. She shifts again, closer, and, I can feel her breath near my ear. "You think too much," she murmurs. The words are meant to be casual, teasing, but they land deep, stirring something unspoken between us. "You're the one who makes me think," I counter, my voice low, almost rough. My hand itches to brush a stray strand of hair from her face, to linger a second too long, to see what happens. She tilts her head, and for a heartbeat, everything freezes. The soft hum of the night, the distant city lights, the way the air seems to vibrate around us. Then she laughs softly, a little daring, a little reckless. "You're ridiculous." Maybe, I admit. Or maybe I just know when something important. Her gaze softens for just a moment, and it's enough to make my chest ache. There's a vulnerability there, a flicker that isn't usually visible. It makes the pull between us almost unbearable. She steps back slightly, breaking the brush of our knees, and I curse the distance. But the look she gives me, half challenge, half invitation, is more dangerous than any closeness. I can feel the shift in the air. The unspoken rules are changing. The boundaries are blurring. We move inside. Without speaking, the house silent, except for the faint creak of the floorboards under our feet. She stops by the kitchen counter, leaning slightly, and I find myself drawn to her, drawn to the way the light catches her eyes, the subtle curve of her lips. I'm aware of every breath, every heartbeat. The phone buzzes again in my pocket, ignored. My attention is all on her, on the tension coiling in the space between us, thick and heavy, impossible to ignore. "Do you ever stop?" she asks, suddenly, voice low, almost challenging. Thinking, wondering, feeling too much? I take a cautious step closer, close enough to see the shimmer of something unspoken in her eyes. "Not when it comes to you," I admit, and the words taste like confession, like fire on my tongue. She swallows, her gaze dropping to my lips, and my breath catches. The nearness is intoxicating, nerve-wracking. She could step closer, or she could step back. Either way, something shifts. Her hand twitches toward mine, almost brushing it. I don't move first. We're in this suspended moment, the space between. Anticipation and fulfillment stretching impossibly long, and then she laughs softly, a mix of frustration and delight, breaking the spell, just barely. The moment passes, but the electricity lingers, thick in the air, in my veins, in the way I'm suddenly aware of every detail, the soft curve of her neck, the scent of jasmine and vanilla that clings to her, the dangerous pull in her gaze. Know, as I step back to grab a glass of water, that this night isn't over. That tension, that almost touch, has changed everything. And somewhere deep inside, I understand that what's coming next, what I can already feel stirring, is inevitable. Something has shifted, and neither of us can go back. The kitchen feels smaller tonight, warmer, like the walls are closing in just enough to hold us together. She's leaning against the counter again, one hand tracing the edge absent-mindedly, the other holding a glass I can't stop noticing. The light from the pendant above pools over her shoulders, over the curve of her neck, casting her in a golden haze that makes my pulse drum too fast. I want to speak, but my words get stuck in my chest. Instead, I let my gaze linger, tracing. The subtle movements, the tilt of her head, the way her fingers flex around the glass, the shimmer in her eyes that betrays a thought she's not voicing. She notices my stare and raises an eyebrow, playful, daring. "Why are you looking at me like that?" she asks, voice low, teasing, yet carrying something softer beneath it. I swallow. The truth hovers at the tip of my tongue, fragile and frightening. "Because I can't stop," I admit. My voice is barely more than a whisper, but the words vibrate between us. Her breath catches, and I see it, feel it. The tiny hitch in her chest, the flicker of vulnerability beneath her teasing mask. I take a step closer, careful, slow, deliberate, letting the space between us shrink until I can feel her warmth fully. "You can't stop?" she repeats, softer now. Her lips part just slightly, and my attention lingers as if memorizing every curve. Her hand shifts on the counter, inches from mine, the air between us charged. Yes, I confess. I can't stop thinking about you, about us, about everything that's left unsaid. She doesn't speak. She just tilts her head, and I catch the flicker of something dangerous, something wanting to cross a line we've only approached in whispers. The air between us hums, electric, heavy, loaded with what we haven't dared to claim. Slowly, I reach out. My fingers brush the back of her hand. Just a fleeting touch, but enough to make her inhale sharply, enough to make the tension coil tighter. She doesn't pull away. She lets it linger. "You're serious," she murmurs, her voice catching in the quiet. "About us?" I nod, stepping closer still. Our knees brush again, and this time neither of us flinches. My thumb slides lightly over the back of her hand, tracing lines that feel intimate, dangerous, undeniable. "Yes," I say again, steadying myself. More than I've let myself admit. The silence that follows is thick, charged with anticipation. My heart hammers in my chest, and I feel it, not just hear it. Every nerve in my body seems to focus on her, the tilt of her head, the subtle rise and fall of her chest, the way her eyes catch the light and don't look away. And then she does, something that makes the world stop. Slowly, tentatively, she lifts her other hand and places it lightly over mine. The contact is fleeting, almost fragile, but it's enough. It's everything. Her lips quiver slightly as she whispers, "I've been feeling it, too." The words hit me like fire. My chest aches, and a rush of warmth spreads through me. I can barely breathe. Everything inside me wants to close the space between us, to bridge the distance I've held myself from for so long. I lean in, just a little, giving her the choice, the space to pull away, or to lean in herself. She doesn't move back. She lets her eyes drift to my lips, then to my eyes again, holding me in a gaze that's part challenge, part surrender. Slowly, so slowly it feels like time itself has slowed, I close the final inches between us. My lips brush hers. Featherlight, a question, a whisper, a confession all at once. She responds, tentative at first, but then with the faintest parting of her lips, inviting me deeper. The kiss is short, barely more than a breath, but it carries years of unspoken desire, fear, longing. Our foreheads press together after, and I can feel the rapid beat of her heart against mine. The world outside the kitchen disappears. There's only this moment, fragile and luminous, suspended in the tension we've been holding for weeks. "I've been scared," she whispers, her breath mingling with mine. "Scared of this, of us." I know, I admit. Me too. My hand slides lightly to the small of her back, careful, reverent, and I feel her lean just slightly into me, a subtle confirmation that she's here, that she wants this as much as I do. Her fingers tighten around mine, anchoring us in the moment. My chest aches with the intensity of it, the closeness, the confession, the slow burn that's finally ignited, and just as the moment feels like it could stretch forever, the phone buzzes again in the other room, sharp and jarring. It's a reminder of the world outside this fragile bubble, outside the intimacy we've built. She stiffens slightly, pulling back, breaking the contact. But the spark remains. Our eyes meet across the small distance, charged, electric, and for a heartbeat, neither of us speaks. The tension hasn't dissipated. It's sharpened, intensified. We've crossed the first line, and we both know the next step could be dangerous, inevitable, transformative. "I need more time," she murmurs, voice soft but trembling. Then, "We'll take it," I say, brushing a thumb across her cheek, lingering on the warmth, the softness, the vulnerability. "I'll wait." She nods, and there's a shared understanding, a promise in the quiet, a vow suspended in the night. The connection we've ignited isn't finished. It's only beginning. And as I watch her retreat slightly, still close enough to feel the pull, I know one thing. Everything is about to change. The living room feels different tonight. Closer, smaller, charged. Shadows stretch long across the walls, flickering from the soft lamplight. I can feel it before I see it. The tension, the unspoken words, the pull between us that refuses to be ignored. She's sitting on the couch now, knees tucked under her, eyes flicking up at me as I hover near the doorway. "Stay," she says softly. Almost a command, almost a plea. And the weight in her voice is enough to make my chest tighten, to pull me toward her without hesitation. I cross the room slowly, careful with every step, letting the space between us shrink, feeling the electricity coil tighter with each movement. Her fingers brush the edge of the couch, then hover near mine. My heart hammers. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't pull away. She waits, just as I wait. I sit beside her, careful, close enough to feel the warmth radiating from her, the soft rhythm of her breath brushing my shoulder. I can smell her perfume, soft jasmine and vanilla, and it makes something stir deep inside me, a delicious ache that's part longing, part restraint. "You can't keep avoiding it," I whisper. My voice is low, roughened by desire and emotion. "You feel it too." Her lips part slightly and she swallows. "I do," she admits. "But it's scary. All of this." I reach out slowly, tracing the line of her jaw with my thumb. She leans into the touch, closing her eyes briefly, and I feel the tiniest shiver run through her. "I don't care about scary," I murmur. "Not when it comes to you. Not anymore." Her eyes open again, meeting mine with a raw intensity that makes my breath catch. The vulnerability there. It's unguarded, open, almost trembling, and it's more intoxicating than anything I've ever known. I inch closer, so close that I can feel her heartbeat against my chest. My hand slides to the small of her back, drawing her slightly into me. She doesn't resist. She lets herself be pulled, and the air between us grows thick, almost unbearable. I've wanted this for so long, I confess, my lips hovering near hers, every word deliberate, every breath shared, every look, every touch, every second. With you, I've felt it, and I can't ignore it anymore. She trembles, and it's like fire running through me. Her hand comes up to my face, fingers brushing the side of my neck, tracing the line of my jaw. The connection is electric. The pull is undeniable. "I'm so tired of pretending," she whispers, and her words break something open inside me. I lean in, pressing my forehead against hers, savoring the closeness, the warmth, the vulnerability. Our breaths mingle. Every inch of space between us is charged, impossible to ignore. I kiss her slowly, deliberately, tasting the fear, the desire, the release in her lips. It's a soft kiss at first, tentative, but it deepens as she leans into me, her fingers tangling in my hair. The world outside ceases to exist. There's only this, the feel of her body pressed against mine, the pulse of her heartbeat echoing in mine, the shared heat that has been simmering for too long. She gasps softly, and I pull back just enough to look into her eyes, searching, asking silently if she wants this as much as I do. She nods slightly, lips parted, and the vulnerability there is breathtaking. "I need you," she admits, voice trembling, almost breaking. "I'm here," I whisper. "I'm not going anywhere." Her hands roam my shoulders, down my arms, tracing the lines of tension in me, and I respond instinctively, pressing closer, holding her, feeling the rise and fall of her chest against mine. The room is electric with our closeness, every nerve, ending alive with sensation. For a moment, we simply hold each other, letting the intensity build, letting the vulnerability wash over us. And then, without thinking, without restraint, I brush a strand of hair from her face and press my lips to hers again. This time harder, more certain, more claiming. She responds in kind, hands clutching at me, pulling me closer as if she can't bear the space between us. "I've been waiting for this," she breathes, voice raw, urgent. "Waiting for you to feel it too." "I always have," I admit, voice rough, full of longing. And now it's real. We break apart. For a heartbeat, foreheads pressed together, breaths mingling, hearts racing. The tension has reached its peak. Nothing can be held back now. The fear, the desire, the vulnerability, all of it hangs between us, raw and unflinching. And then a sound from the other room, a door closing softly, reminds us of the world outside. We pull back reluctantly, hands lingering, eyes locked, each unwilling to let go completely. The danger, the thrill, the emotional pull remains, simmering just beneath the surface. "I can't stop thinking about what's next," she whispers. "About us." "Neither can I," I say, brushing my thumb along her cheek, tracing the warmth that still lingers there. "And we don't have to stop. Not ever." Her lips curve into a small, tired smile, eyes shimmering. "Promise me." "I promise," I reply, pulling her into a final, lingering embrace. The moment is perfect in its intensity, a turning point we can never undo. And in that embrace, I know it. Everything has changed. The boundary between us has been crossed. The desire, the trust, the emotional connection, they're unstoppable. Now, nothing can go back to the way it was. The night stretches on around us, quiet, intimate, and we hold each other like the world itself is waiting for us to decide what comes next. The morning light creeps softly through the blinds, painting the room in gold and amber. I can still feel the echo of last night, the way her body fit against mine, the warmth of her skin, the unspoken promises that lingered in the quiet moments before sleep. She's asleep now, chest rising and falling, fingers curled slightly toward me on the bed. The sight steals my breath. How completely she belongs here, how completely I want her in every sense of the word. I brush a strand of hair from her face, and her eyes flutter open, catching mine with a sleepy, intimate smile. "Morning," she whispers, voice husky, still heavy with the memory of closeness. "Morning," I reply softly, leaning down just enough to press a slow, lingering kiss to her forehead. Her hand reaches for mine instinctively, and our fingers intertwine, warm and sure. There's a calm after the storm in her gaze, but also something deeper, a certainty we've been searching for through hesitation, tension, and almost confessions. The weight of last night hasn't left us. It's transformed into trust, desire, and a bond that feels unbreakable. "I didn't think we'd get here," she murmurs, eyes tracing my face, lips curling into that subtle, mischievous half-smile. "Not like this." Neither did I admit. My thumb brushes along the back of her hand, and the simple touch carries everything. Longing, relief, adoration. But I'm glad we did. She shifts closer, her head resting lightly against my shoulder. The closeness is intoxicating, grounding, and for the first time in what feels like forever, the tension, the fear, the suspicion, they're gone, replaced with clarity. "I want this," she says, voice low, intimate. "All of it, every part of you, every part of us. No more holding back." "I want that too," I whisper, lifting her hand to my lips, pressing a kiss to each fingertip, a quiet ritual of reverence. Everything. All of it. And with that, the final walls between us crumble. I pull her fully into my lap, letting our bodies align in the gentle gravity of intimacy. Her hair brushes my cheek, soft as silk, and the scent of her, the delicate jasmine, the vanilla, wraps around me like a promise. We move together slowly, deliberately, every motion a conversation in itself. Every glance, every sigh, every gentle brush of skin against skin tells a story words never could. The room is alive with our closeness. The soft sound of breath, the subtle shift of weight, the quiet thrum of hearts entwined. I've never felt this, she murmurs, voice trembling. Like I can be me with someone. You can be, I reply, brushing a hand along the curve of her back, feeling her lean into me. With me? Always. Her lips find mine in a kiss that's no longer tentative but full of certainty and desire. It's slow, consuming, and each moment stretches infinitely. Her hands roam over me, tentative at first, then with increasing confidence, exploring, affirming, claiming. And I respond in kind, savoring every shift, every movement, every sign that she is here, with me, fully present, fully trusting. Time stretches and contracts. The outside world ceases to exist. There's no phone, no deleted messages, no doubts. Just us, just this room, just the echo of shared breath and shared heartbeats. I love you, she whispers suddenly, her forehead resting against mine. The words are fragile, heavy, and perfect all at once. I love you too, I answer, and the intensity of it catches us both. Love, desire, relief, and trust, all entwined in a single, shimmering moment. Her hand slides into mine again, fingers entwined, and I feel a quiet, steady resolve settle over us. We've passed the storm, crossed the tension, admitted our desires, and here, in the soft morning light, we finally have clarity. The emotional weight has transformed into connection, deep, unwavering, and breathtakingly real. We lie together, moving occasionally to adjust, to trace the other's form, to savor the quiet intimacy of being near, touching, feeling, knowing. Words are minimal now. They aren't needed. Our hearts speak for us. Every subtle gesture a declaration of everything we've built. I never want to go back, she murmurs after a long pause, voice soft and certain. To anything less than this. Neither do I reply, pressing, my lips lightly to her temple. We've earned this. Every moment. And it's ours. The light changes as the sun rises higher, spilling across the room in a gentle glow. Outside, the world moves on, oblivious to the intimacy unfolding within these walls. But inside, nothing else matters. The past, the doubts, the fears, they are all gone, transformed into something stronger, deeper, unshakable. We stay like that, entwined, connected, hearts beating in quiet synchrony. Every brush of skin, every shared smile, every soft word seals the unspoken promise. We are here, together, completely. And as the day stretches on, with soft laughter, whispered secrets, and lingering touches, I realize that what we have is rare, unbreakable, and entirely ours. The tension, the longing, the almost misses, they were all part of the journey. But now, finally, we've arrived here, together, in every sense that matters.